All right, let's get this party started, right? Let's get this party started here. The list of challenges has grown. Here we got Gold Member Water Shoot. Welcome. Welcome to the show. We're not wasting any time today, in case you haven't noticed. We're jumping right in to the party. The party that is the Bullet Brawl. I'm going to play the Verisov and extend on the king side here. I'm getting a lot of these lately. A lot of fun. I'll go ahead and extend in the center e4. c5 is usually the most challenging move against that development that white takes, looking to open the dark squares quickly. Here, if white gets a big center as I've gotten, it's going to make my chances to attack on the king side pretty nice, as they say. A lot of options. I'm not even sure which one to go for. I wanted d5, which might have been the best, but I'll let him bring his knight over there to the edge of the board if that's what he chooses to do. Although that didn't work out very well for me, now did it? No, it really didn't. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful here. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful. I want to go get the G pawn here. Or sorry, the H pawn. That's this strangely slow maneuver I'm taking. It's all about targeting this H pawn, which can't go anywhere. Because as soon as I grab it, whiskily wab it, as soon as I grab that pawn, it should allow me to bring the knight back and then get some attack going here with h5. He attacks the queen, which I guess makes sense if you just want to play tickle. I'm not sure it does much else beyond that. We'll go ahead and trade, then we'll bring the bishop to e6 with check, and maybe we can mate him on the h-file. Right? Who doesn't like mating on the h-file? I meant that in the best of way, not in any kind of inappropriate way. We'll go ahead and take the queen, which I'm not sure he saw. Right? It's our favorite to create a mating attack on the h-file. So, one of the things about this line in the Verisov is positionally, again, I just want to remind you some of the basics here so we can all learn something. Oh, by the way, hi everybody, my name's Danny. Welcome to the Bullet Brawl. Haven't even done an introduction yet. Viva la Brazil today. Viva la Brazil. Much to the chagrin of many of my co-workers from Argentina. A lot of our best developers in Argentina. Matias, love you, baby. One of the things about this line is because it blocks the c-pawn and the early development of the bishop creates this, I would say, empty area on the queen side as far as the dark squares go. Positionally, one of the most dynamic ways for black to try to take advantage of that is early and often c5. And though, of course, you've seen me face that line, and white is still equal and can play a number of different ways. Sorry, I didn't even mean. I guess somehow I was following that game, but that's strange that it would do that. Following that person just replaced the game that I wanted to go over. Just replaced my game that I wanted to look at. So we're going to look at it here. But, even though white can play different variations against c5, the position is still equal. It's something that black should look to do pretty early. I think that today I played Sam Hawkins, who's an international master on our site, and he's actually challenging me right now. Wants to jump in on this Bullet Brawl, does he? Does he now? And we had a number of games that went like this, with the bishop coming out to b4 and then playing c5. And white is often capturing early because he's created this sort of positional error where the knight's in front of the c-pawn, and therefore there's going to be less protection coming to the d4 pawn than you would normally like. That's some of the risk in this obscure development for white, to have the d-pawn being the lead pawn in the center, but not have a queen's gambit structure where your knight is behind the pawn. That's some of the risk. So white has to take on c5 in a lot of positions, and depending on what happens here, white can either try for e4, which changes the structure, or a number of different things. But I still think that black's best positional approach is usually early and often with c5. So in the way that our opponent plays, this is fine, but when white gets this attack going early, and this space is not going to be punished by you breaking open and getting at my naked king. It's not going to be punished by a lack of minor pieces either, controlling those squares. It's really a pretty nice space advantage, and White can even play e4 immediately here in a lot of these positions, or I can play what I did with queen d2, and maybe I would have met c5 by just capturing and castles long, and again, e4. It's what White is getting in exchange for this positional sacrifice that I've now been harping on for a few minutes, which is, again, blocking the c-pawn and weakening the dark squares. Those are the positional sacrifices White is making. What I'm getting in exchange for that is an accelerated development. How often do you see someone just develop their pieces this directly and just go castle long and go bring it, right? So the Verisov is exactly designed for that. It's this really aggressive, it's a great blitz opening. So anyway, that's kind of a basic idea of what's going on here and why I think that these lines with bishop f5 that a lot of people play are just some of the most fun to play against. And I just expand quickly and get these huge centers, and this game became a little weird. I think bishop to c4 was just a stupid move by me. Honestly, the c7 pawn's hanging, which I didn't even see in the game. d5 is probably a totally good move here. One key point, I think, is that if d5, chop-alicious, knight b4, we have boomtown, cutting off the communication between the queen and knight, right? And then we go take here. Although he does have this check at the end, I have knight to d2, and everybody's happy, meaning White. So, okay, so I think that would have been the best for me. All right, we got a lot of challengers here. Well over 20 challengers that have come in. We have guys like Queen Sack, 1322. We have Anna E. I'm not going to play you a 45-45 game, Anna. All right, I love you. I love the effort. I love that you would even have the chutzpah to challenge that during a bullet chess show. But I'm not going to play you a 45-minute game right now. That's redunculous. Let's see. Everybody here seems to be able to hear and see us. Everything's rocking and rolling. All right, let's go ahead and bring on Sammy. Sammy and I had a fun little battle a few moments ago where he, I think he got the slight best of me. Either that or I think he got a one-game best of me. But that wasn't while I was providing commentary, so hopefully I can play about as fast as I was in those games while also providing commentary. That would be the goal. Because if I can't do that, I'm going to have trouble against a player of Sammy's caliber. He is good. He is real good Hollywood. That's the truth. Okay. Play a5 and a4, I think. Just take it? I don't even know. We actually have several good things to do. I don't think this is a good line for him. In fact, I know it's not that good. But it's what we're doing. So the only issue here, again, I'm down a few seconds on time, but I am already in fantastic shape. If you consider the nature of this position, I am just rolling through right now on the queen side. It's the dragon at its best. And that is Funtown. Population us, you know. Population us, Funtown. Oh, I should have just given check. If I gave check, it was all over but the crying. But okay. I think it's still all over but the crying. Yeah, wow. Nice game, right? Who doesn't love crushing an international master to start a Bullet Brawl? Oh, this guy. This guy loves that. Wow. Feels real good. Feels real good right now. Okay. Okay, Danny, stay focused. Okay, Danny. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay, stay focused. Let's play a Verisov and see if Sammy wants to rinse and repeat this thing like shampoo. Right, let's do this, baby girl. Takes it, shake and bake it. We'll give a little Chekaruski and we'll trade it. We did this a few times. Whoa, that's different. I don't know that that's very good for him. That's a piece. Sammy is a little bit flustered right now. I think he's more than a little bit frustrated with how the last game went. Because this is just not so bueno for him right now. We're just going to trade everything. We're just up pieces here, man. I don't know if you forgot that you were down a piece, but you're down a piece. And that's not good. Being down pieces is not good. Pro tip. Pro tip. Being down pieces, not very good. Let's bring the other rook over. Just trade. We'll take here. Offer a queen trade. We'll bring the knight into f5. And I guess now we'll go to d6. Why not? Start pushing the c-pawn. Seems like fun to go this way. That's a check, and that's a rook. Sammy, I love you. I appreciate your energy, the high level of energy that you bring. Also, your name is Sam Hawkins, which sounds like the superhero from some sort of like LA Confidential movie where you're a dirty cop who then goes good. Like, you never were really that dirty as a cop. You just maybe took some bribes here and there. Then you find out the whole precinct is going under due to a deal with the mob, and then Sam Hawkins goes good. Doesn't Sam Hawkins sound like the main character of that movie? That's what your name sounds like. So obviously I love you because of your username. So that's established. But you need to pick up your game right now. I'm saying that with the best intentions because I love you. I'm saying that. I'm not saying that because I'm talking trash. I'm saying that because I know what you're capable of. You already smashed me recently. And I know that if given the opportunity, you will absolutely pick up your game. That was weird, town. What is going on here? You sly little dog, you're winning a pawn. That was amazing. Hats off to you for finding that combination. First of all, I didn't even see that coming at all, right? That was just out of the blue. That's what that was. Out of the blue. Yeah, he's crushing me now because I just totally blundered this knight takes d5 tactic, which again was just no bueno. I guess if he wants to trade queens, we're going to do it. I mean, I think worse things have happened. Worse things have happened to my chess positions than trading queens when I was already pretty much dead in that position. So we'll go with it. I guess we'll take it. We'll see if he wants to shake and bake it. Maybe just trade into an obfuscate bishop position. No, he doesn't want it. What he wants right now is the fact that he's up some time. So what he really wants is just a win on time. Let's be honest. That's all he's really playing for right now. Right now, we are just rocking and rolling. Oh, blundered that. That was a silly Billy move by me. Oh, he only has 6 seconds? What was I doing? I should have kept playing. I was about to go 3-0, homie. I was about to go 3-0. Man, oh man, I was about to take the cake on this thing, but let's run this Verasov thing back. Let's run it back one more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright, let's get to dancing. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright, let's get to dancing. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Let's get to dancing. I like stopping people from castling. It's one of my favorite things to do, believe it or not. I also like winning pawns, though. So when choosing between stopping from castling and winning pawns, I tend to choose the latter, right? I feel like the most interesting chess player in the world right now. I don't always choose to win pawns instead of stopping people from castling. But when I do, I prefer to do it when the king is in the center. I think he's giving up a lot of pawns, and I think I appreciate that in general. There's so many options here. I don't even know what to do. There's so many options. Let's push. Let's push again. Sometimes I don't even know what you're doing, Sammy. I don't even know what you're doing, Sammy. You're just losing, man. It's just not your day right now on this particular Bullet Brawl, homie. Dude, I love you. You love me. We play on Chess.com as a family with a big fat giddy up and a how's your father to do. Let's play bullet chess next time. Once you pull it together, Billy Blue. Hashtag rhyme time. Hashtag rhyme time. All right, let's keep playing. Play you again. I know that, but right now I also have to take on the other comers. We don't normally play title players so quickly here. So thank you for giving me the confidence that I can beat the main character in a, you know, like I said, in a crime mystery movie about, like, maybe it's not necessarily a dirty cop. Maybe Sam Hawkins is like an undercover agent who has like a mysterious past. He's also sort of like, maybe he has a modern life, right? Like he's in a relationship, but maybe he's not that happy, and then bam, like something weird happens, right? Turns out his wife was also a spy. Wait, no, this is sounding a little more like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Anyway, Sam Hawkins, that is the name. If I had a name like Sam Hawkins, I would be probably fighting crime somewhere. Don't drink out of that ugly bottle. Use a glass. First of all, this is not an ugly bottle. This Bullet Brawl is brought to you by Great Value Spring Water. Refreshes and gives joy. Right? That's what that's about. So don't criticize what has become a staple on these shows, which is the ugly gallon of water that Danny drinks out of. And I also just feel incredibly bad for this person. Clearly, he didn't know that he had... I'm going to give you a rematch, buddy, because you didn't know I had accepted your challenge, clearly, or you were just so excited, right? You lost a hold of yourself. But okay, so this is the Staunton Gambit against the Dutch, which actually is a for realsies opening, FYI, and it's also a principled gambit if you consider that most positional plans against the Dutch, both the Leningrad and the Stonewall, involve a breakthrough on the light scores for white at some point. The more principled way, of course, is white's going to fianchetto the bishop and eventually prepare this sort of move. But e4 is a very principled way to play this position because even against the main line, white is immediately trying to pry open what is potentially black's biggest weaknesses on the board. And after bishop g5, you get a lot of people to blunder in these positions with moves like d5, where they immediately just lose to this check, followed by picking up this pawn, and then white normally gets this pawn too. So there's a lot of fun in playing this Staunton Gambit. Okay, let's take on the CEO of chess, because his username sounds intimidating. Let's hope the CEO of chess isn't half of as intimidating as his username. We'll see if I can keep up with this guy. Rekharovka, Korotkai, d5. Love that, especially after bishop d2. It makes positional sense to transpose. Okay, we're just going to play kind of similar like I did against Sammy, although knight takes d5 would have been a good move there, huh? So I have to be careful. That little approach I've taken has proven to be a blunder once before against Sam, so I'll remember that. I can play knight f6 and then trade there on c3 to put the knight on e4, but he's going to put his knight on e5, so I actually like the idea of coming into g6 instead, because it would have simplified if he had put his knight on e5, and if he plays this way, this is a very typical relocation of black's pieces, which we'll talk about after the game, because we are here to learn something after all, are we not? We are all here to grow and learn together as human beings and chess players. I'm talking about like being on this planet, right? On this plane of existence. I'm not just talking about the Bullet Brawl. I'm going to play the queen to g6 next. No, I'll probably just go after the e-pawn, because how's he going to deal with that? I don't know. Take with check. Now I'll go after the e-pawn. We'll kick this pony back first, because why not? Now it's just kind of falling apart for my opponent here. I'm just going to play f5, knowing that it gives up the rook for the bishop, because simplifies my position by eliminating possible tactics of him opening up the position to come after my king. That's called practical decision-making, Holmes. Put the king on h8 and then bring the rook to g8. Shaking what my mama gave me right there. Boom, boom. All right. Now let's talk about where it all went wrong for the CEO of chess. So this is a Nimzo. First of all, traditionally it was a Nimzo, but after he plays bishop d2, which is sort of a slightly dubious move for white. Sam Hawkins played it, but okay, theoretically here, bishop to g5 and e3 are both much more mainline moves. Even g3 is more playable. Bishop d2 is a passive move, and after d5, we actually have a transposition to a Queen's Gambit structure with the bishop on d2 being sort of misplaced. Now, that said, I've played this position just before against Sammy, and as soon as the white king castles, that means that I'm no longer taking on d2 with Chekaruski, and that's why this tactic became possible. So, against Sammy and here, I should have either taken immediately and played knight e4, or I should have voluntarily retreated this bishop back to d6 or e7, which would be a traditional QGD type of structure with the small improvement for black that white's bishop is sort of a passive piece. So against both Sam and the CEO of chess, this is what I should have done, or like I said, maybe taken knight e4, which seems kind of fun and interesting. I think that black is probably at least equal that way too. But I didn't. Against both of them, I played this weird move a6, which is sort of a Moran idea in the Slav. What is the Moran idea? I'm going to tell you right now. The Moran idea is you're preparing to take on c4. And the reason you play a6 is because you want, let's say they play something like this. You want to meet it with taking, followed by an immediate attack, and then an immediate advance of c5. You would not be able to immediately attack and immediately advance if you didn't have this a6 pawn defending b5. Boomtown. Okay, that's hitting you with some knowledge right there. So that's the whole idea. And of course, the whole point of this is just the fact that it's opening up your position and good stuff. A good way to attack the center. So a6 is kind of an easy move to play as far as the way you play the position in regular QGDs, but it's just a blunder here, too, to this tactic that Sammy played for. And again, so he didn't go for it here, but he played a3, and then I took and played knight e4. But one of the things I was highlighting about this position as far as the plan I chose with knight f8 rather than knight f6 is that as active as knight f6 seems, and the idea of taking on c3 and putting the knight on e4 seems good, and I'm not going to deny that's probably fine for black, this is usually a more natural coordination for black, and the reason is that this move follows straight through with the plan you saw me play. You're bringing the knight to g6, followed by a coordinated effort with the queen coming to g5, which now has the queen and the knight focused on the king side, and with this bishop on this diagonal, the bishop is already developed, having not even moved to a single square, right? The bishop is serving its purpose in this position already. So if you're ever playing QGD structures,